the club, we'll do it tonight, yeah. From the back to the left to the right, yeah. All them girls looking hot, looking tight, yeah. Come on and move from the wall to the light, yeah. I don't know, maybe you didn't hurt me. Gonna lose it tonight, yeah, no mercy. We're gonna turn it up crazy. We're gonna turn it up, ooh.
Let me see your hand, let me see your hand. Let me see your hand, let me see your hand. Let me see your hand, let me see your hand. Let me see your hand, let me see your hand.
Let me see your hands, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands, let me see your hands. We come around like you dance, no care. Popping bottles, you know how we do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spot. My name is
I'm LaWanda.
Tiffany.
and today Ron is out, but he is here in spirit with us. So we definitely gonna miss Ron on this. The real input would have been good on this. We're gonna hold it down for him while he's out. We are here to talk about Insecure. That's it. It's over. This was the series finale, and I think a lot of people are happy with the outcome. I think a lot of people finally got answers. And yes, and if you haven't noticed, we got our wine. We are winding down. We got to wind down and digest all of what just happened.
Somebody said the sound is off. It is.
Okay, so okay, sure. With the sound. Let's see.
Ron says to tell Tierra to turn down her
You guys
volume.
in the comment section can hear it. Hey, Kelly, Jordan, Kendra, Morris, can you guys hear us right now?
Your sound sounds grovelly.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what to do about that.
Right. I think we gotta press on. Sorry, y'all.
Technology is great until it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, family. Sound is scratchy. Yeah, we know.
Trying to work it out.
We know. We're trying to work it out. Please excuse us. Technical difficulties. For some reason, y'all, our sound is always a little different when we do StreamYard as opposed to Zoom. When we film our other recaps, we use Zoom, and we've been going live on StreamYard, and for whatever reason, StreamYard is a little different for us as far as technology. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, let me see if I change mics. Can y'all hear me okay right now?
It's still kind of scratchy. Ron asked if you're on a speaker, if you're using a speaker or another mic.
L Boogie said they cried a little bit. Tears of joy only. Tears of joy.
Yes, L Boogie. I was happy too. I was like, oh my goodness. I was already preparing myself to be let down.
I was like, there's no way there's no way that they
I know that made sense, but I just was like, I guess what's it called was trolling us because Nathan Kendrick Sampson had said something like, you know, people are gonna be mad at this finale. So I was like, oh no. So wait a minute. So
maybe
I just
thinking because Molly, you know, because it wasn't Issa and Lawrence, it was Molly.
No, well, it still was good. I mean, because I feel like they were still on their way because sounds better. Sounds better.
Okay, we'll roll with that.
There it is. There it is. We back in business, y'all.
Okay, perfect. So you guys kind of chit chatted a little bit, and I don't know, how do you guys feel? Because I know Tiffany, you were saying you're happy with the outcome. What about you, Lawanda?
Yes.
Oh, you know I'm happy. My
Yes.
husband thing is that they end up together because that's who they really wanted to be with.
Exactly. I felt like that's who she wanted all along. Because I mean, I know what Ron was saying about, because of the baby and this, that, and the other, but life and love is complicated, and everything is not always going to be cookie cutter and perfect, the perfect scenario and stuff. So I was fine with the outcome, and I was happy with the fact that she was just like, listen, I'm willing to try. And I'm like, there it is,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, and she
That's
actually had that conversation. They were talking about her career and how she had to take a moment and stop being her biggest doubter and just have some confidence and believe in herself that it could work out. And so the conversation shifted from it being about her work into it being about them getting back together. And he was like, can we work it out? And I was like, all right, this is it. They getting back together.
yes, yes.
Yes. The fact that he even showed up to see the space, I was like, when he walked in, I was like, okay, this is a good sign. This is a good sign.
Yeah, but
Very.
it wasn't looking good for them getting back together at first, because when it was Lawrence's birthday and
I saw the
he
chick.
was
I
getting
was
ready to
like,
go out to dinner, he had a whole new chick.
yeah.
So
And I was like, who is Harpo? Who is
Yeah.
this?
He had a whole new chick, but she hung up on him when he was still saying, well, we should
We
have
can go
dinner.
dinner.
Yeah.
She sure did. I was like, dang, Issa, would you just hit a man out? Jeez.
yeah, so it was like she was the one that was self-sabotaging in that point instead of it being Molly all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but of course, we got the big breakup at the very beginning. I wanted to talk about Nathan. He finally told Issa that he couldn't deal with it, which I think we all had a feeling that he wasn't um emotionally stable enough to deal with her roller coaster that she was taking him on. And then it was a huge embarrassment, that whole fight that went down last episode. And so I just think Nathan, he was like, I can't do this. And I think that Issa realizes how much baggage comes along with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, go ahead.
No, go
Luana.
ahead, Tiffany.
No, I was just thinking, I mean, like I said, I like Nathan. I think he's a good dude. But Nathan strikes me as a runner. I was happy to hear him say later that he was going to stay in LA and make it work. But I mean, I always get the sense from him that when stuff is kind of, that he's going to break out. And that's why I was just like, I never felt like Issa felt like she was secure with him. Ever since he ghosted her,
Yeah.
I felt like she was never really secure with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I
I'm
think,
glad at least it. Oh, go ahead, Lawanda.
no, I'm saying that, and I personally felt like relieved in a sense that Issa didn't have to do it, because I think he saw the way it was going, so it was probably best for him to bow out of that situation rather than him get hurt. He made the choice. You know what I mean? Because I think even if you walked up on that conversation, even though did anything, I think he understood it. You know what I mean? I think he understood the chemistry and the connection between them. And I think that's why he always had doubt. He knew that she still loved him. And I think once he probably heard that Lawrence had been there and was living there, and she hadn't mentioned it, I think her not saying anything was the point.
Yeah, it's
And then,
real shady.
and I think just her having the mutual friends, him still being part of a friend group, that let him know that regardless, like Lawrence wasn't going anywhere. He was going to be in that space and stuff. So it was going to always be awkward.
Yep, I agree. But I was glad to see that at least they could be amicable through the situation. Like, it was a mutual parting where both parties recognized that it was probably best that they go their separate ways. It wasn't a bad breakup. And he did check back in on her in the future on her birthday, drop off the donations. And it seems like, I mean, he said he had no regrets, which it seemed like that stung Issa a little bit, because she was like, dang, you don't regret breaking up with me? And I know that's always hard to hear, no matter how much of the truth it is.
Well, I think he probably meant too that he didn't regret them meeting, them having their relationship, I think that's what he also meant too, that he didn't regret them, because for a time they were good, and I think they had a good friendship,
Yes.
and they probably can still be cool in the future. He just wasn't the one.
Yeah, and that whole idea of somebody coming into your lifetime for a season, he came when she needed him.
Yes.
He came when she really needed somebody to boost her confidence and to be on her
Yes.
side and support her dream. Somebody
Yes.
who didn't know her and know her for all of her awkwardness and failures and all of that, to just see her in the moment and say, Issa, you can do this, and I'm here for you. And I think that's what his purpose was in her life. And once he served it, there's no reason. All breakups don't have to happen. You know, they don't have to.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and it seemed, I don't know if y'all observed it, but even at, I mean, Molly's big wedding reveal, you know, it seemed like Issa, I couldn't tell if she was happy or not, or if she felt a little sadness, because you could see in her face, like she kind of looked sad. But I was thinking maybe it could also her just been like reflecting on all that they had gone through and just taking it all in, like, wow, my girl is really here at this moment.
I think she was happy for her, but at the same time, like when you see your friends getting married, moving away and stuff, you recognize that you occupy a different space in your friend's life. Like you know, the Molly that she could always hook up with, like of course they'll still be able to be friends and still be able to do stuff together. But you know, once you have a spouse and you have a family and stuff like that, you know, there's somebody else you gotta answer to first. So I think that's what it was too, just recognizing that they are in different spaces right now.
The priorities change, the dynamics of the relationship change, and whereas they're accustomed to Issa being with Lawrence, this is the first time Molly has had somebody solidly in her life.
Exactly.
That's the dynamic, right? That's the dynamic.
Which I was happy for Molly. Yeah. I was like sad about the, you know, her losing her mom, you know, because those of us who, you know, have lost parents and stuff, I was like, that was tough. So I felt that. But the fact that she finally got her person and her happily ever after or whatever, I was happy for Molly and happy about her arc this season.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, and the full circle broken pussy moment. I mean, they started bringing up all the nostalgic moments at the end.
I was like, that was perfect.
I know that we got y'all crew passing by the Rite Aid with the Best Buy t-shirts, the Dunes.
The Blood, what's Blood's name?
Yeah.
Thug Yoda.
Yes, Thug Yoda.
Yeah, I mean, everything finally like came full circle at the end. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, which you probably did, but at the beginning of the episode, she was standing in the mirror and her reflection was kind of like chastising her a little bit. And then by the end of the episode, I thought we were going to get one little last flexion rap or something like that. But, you know, you just hear Khalees bossy play. And I was like, okay, so Issa has moved on from, you know, the mirror talks. I mean, or seemingly so. So I think that was supposed to like signify that, you know, that chapter of her life where she was so insecure and she had to consult herself in the mirror. Like she had moved past that and she had finally bossed up into this really confident version of herself. So I was happy to see that. I thought that was a really great way to close things out. And even with, you know, Issa coming home on her birthday to Lawrence and Lil Ja.
Yes, I was like,
that was real sweet. And I was like, so okay, she decided, you know, stepmommy role was gonna be it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, listen, that's who she loves, and you know, you make it work.
Yeah, you got a bonus son. Son.
And he seemed like he liked Issa too. Yeah. And stuff. And it seems like it ended with he and Condola in a good place too. They co-parenting well.
Last week, I was like, they did not have Issa and Condola have that conversation last episode for no reason. And I was like, that had to be some foreshadowing about the co-parenting situation, because we didn't see Condola at all in this episode. But because they had that conversation last week, that kind of makes me feel like their co-parenting situation is intact, everything's smooth.
And I think you were right about
Everybody
the other
else.
thing. I'm sorry,
What is that?
it broke up. It broke out for a
Oh,
minute.
go
I
ahead.
didn't know you weren't finished. I was gonna say, and I think you were right about the other thing that you said. You said something like, either you or Ron said something about Condola left, and that may have been on purpose because she
Oh,
peeked.
that
Because
was
you can
Ron.
see, yeah, you can see how she was looking. She could tell that Lawrence was looking over there at Issa and stuff, and
Hmm.
she may have, left on purpose to give him that space.
Yeah, it could have been. Because like you said this last week too, as the woman, you don't want to feel like second fiddle all the time, and you know
No,
it. You can always
you
feel it.
do. And especially you sitting here, the man, he was over there making Google eyes at Issa. I mean, he was over there looking at her and everything, and you can see he was looking longingly at her. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that position.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if I seen the engagement ring on her finger this episode. They
On
definitely
Issa's,
didn't show it. Yeah, on
Issa looked
Issa.
like she had a ring on her finger. That's why I was
That's
wondering.
what I thought. I thought so
Yes.
too, because I was like, they had
So
really like bossed up their whole lifestyle. Issa was pushing the Lexus. She pulled up into this really beautiful home. She finally like just has it all together. And I
she
was like,
had it
Issa is
in the
like,
office, the corporate office for the block.
yep.
That was
And
nice
got
too. I
all,
was like,
yeah. Issa, I was proud. I was really proud. I think this
I was
show did a
too.
really good job of capturing all of the different versions of yourself, the range of emotions you get as you transition from your 20s to your 30s. And I think that this episode summed it up. They did a really good job to me of doing the time hops.
Mhm.
Because last episode they talked about how they would come together and celebrate each other's birthdays, no
Mhm.
matter where they were in the world. And so this episode we see that they came together first for Molly's birthday, and then they had they I think Issa's was next. No, sorry, they went to Denver. And I was
Mhm.
surprised to hear that Tiffany was not so pleased with Denver. She seems like she was the only one that didn't really get the best ending.
Yeah, I
Even
don't think she
she
really
was
wanted to
supposed
go in the first place. She didn't want it. She
right.
was just going for Derek. Because even at that goodbye party, if you listen to her speech, she was saying some little slick stuff in her speech. I was like, she didn't really want to go, but she was being the dutiful wife.
Well, I think
Mhm.
she knew it was a good opportunity for him. But
Right.
it goes to show that money is not everything, because he may have bossed up in that way, but lifestyle, quality
Yes.
of life is important.
And her friends are not
Mhm.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
because who else is out in Denver but them?
Yep. They
And
just
she
said
said
like
the
his
family
family.
wasn't, yeah, she said they weren't really there like they were supposed to be. The child was the only black girl in school, and all of those
See?
things matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, Tiff was the only one that got like the short end of the stick. And then we seen by the time that she was at Molly's wedding, she was pregnant again. So I'm like, oh, I hope this don't bring on another postpartum breakdown for her.
Well, I mean, and she's, they doing all right if they still popping out kids.
Well, yeah, but if you in a place where you don't have any friends or family after the
Yeah,
second
I
child,
know.
and
I know.
that's rough.
And I will say this: I've done that, move from a really really diverse place to some place that's not as diverse, and it's hard. It's really hard trying to
Mhm.
find things that are comfortable in terms of food, shopping, hair products, all of that stuff, or just being able to find another set, not the same friends, but just another set of friends. So that can be hard, especially when you don't have that kind of community that you want to raise your kids in. So I kind of felt
Yeah.
Tiffany, but I felt like if the arc of the show was going on, they would have come back to LA too.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too. I think they will eventually end up back in LA or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even her husband was saying that none of his friends come see him. So,
Dude suck.
I
What did
mean,
he say? And I'm
yeah,
surprised Chad didn't show up. He thought Chad, it was real important to Chad that he be remembered and be considered a friend.
Chad wanted to be
uh,
remembered at that party, but he wasn't trying to go to Denver.
right. you know, while they were in Denver, I like that Molly and Issa had that conversation where Molly basically like confirmed it for Issa. She was like, it's okay to go after what you want, you know, no matter how it looks to people on the outside. And so I think that that was like the confirmation Issa needed to say, like, okay, this situation might not be ideal for me, but it's what I want.
And that's
So,
what I
and then
was
we seen
saying.
it happen.
That's what I was saying all along. Because a lot of times people are worried about what people are gonna think and how it looks. And at the end of the day, you're the only one that has to deal with it. You know,
Yeah.
you too.
And you
You and
could
the
tell Issa wasn't happy. She was the only of like even Kelly got a new man who she
Yeah.
was so happy with, and she ended up pregnant. You know, at her dinner party, she made the announcement,
Mhm.
and then eventually we also heard that Kelly was partnering with Molly's firm. So everything was on the up and up for Kelly. And then, like, as all the great news is being revealed at everybody's individual birthday parties, Issa's the only one that at that point was still single. And it seemed like she
Mhm.
was still trying to, she might have been doing well professionally, but you could tell she wasn't like truly happy. She was still missing that one thing.
And she was dating some dude. She had a new dude too.
Nah, here.
Uh-huh.
And
A-
he was cute.
Yeah, he was cute.
AOV made a comment saying that the guy, one of those guys, looked like Daniel, and he kind of did.
He did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lighter version.
Yeah. And I liked L Boogie's comment about Yvonne Orji telling Prentice about the like the thanking her for really changing her life, because I think that this show has made a lot of permanent friendships. Like I can
It
see them
did.
still hanging off scene, off camera and everything like that. They are really a family now.
Oh,
And
they're
talking
really
about the
tight.
tears that they shed in the bathroom scene, like those were real tears. And I can see that. You could see the emotion.
I saw Yvonne Orji's interview on the Breakfast Club, and she just talked about how, these days, because, Issa is married in real life and stuff. And
Mhm.
she talked about, them having to schedule time to get together because, and Issa is that busy, and Molly's busy. I mean, Yvonne is busy too. So it is tough when you have relationships and careers and all these other things,
Mhm.
that you have to compete with. So I think this was a really good episode. I was happy that it
Yeah.
ended the way it did.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it was good. I appreciated the fact of her being able to show her gratitude, because I believe Yvonne she was doing comedy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this show was a really great platform for her. It's like her
Mm-hmm.
first role, and it really did change her life career wise and everything. And so I think to be able to show your appreciation and kind of have that memorialized in TV for years to come is a kind of a fantastic thing. They'll always know
Mhm.
that that moment between them was real.
Mm-hmm. And there's
Yes,
supposed to
yes.
be a documentary that airs, I think, is it tomorrow? And it's supposed to take you behind the scenes of the end of the show. So we're gonna see a lot more tears and everything in that documentary.
You know what it made me think of, because I watched Awkward Black Girl when it was like a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube show, when it was streaming on her website. And you see the success that she has now, but you do understand that there was a lot of hard work to get there. And a lot of times people will see you when you're successful and think you just showed up overnight. And whereas this show was kind of, pitched as like the show that was about the friendship between two women, it really, and when you go back and look at the last 5 years, you do see the glow up and
Mm-hmm.
what she had to go through professionally to get to be on top and to be a success. And I think that's important for people to see, because they think that there's no work involved, or that you don't, not that you have to suffer, but you don't have challenges and you don't have real obstacles. And your work, sometimes going after what you want for work can affect your personal life. Sometimes your personal life can go and affect your career. So
Mm-hmm.
I think in retrospect, I'm glad she included that, to see that as a part of the show, so that other people, particularly creatives or anybody who's kind of working towards a career, to understand that it's a process. It's worth it in the end, but it is a process.
Mhm. Yeah, this show overall, I think was like the most authentic display of all of what you just said. You know, it's not just a show for the sake of being a show. Like it had purpose, and I think that Issa did a really good job of showing, you know, black people on camera, showing all of our intricacies and all of our, you know, insecurities, of course, and just I applaud the show. I'm proud of it. I'm glad that we have, like, you know, people always talk about some of the negative shows that come out with the drugs and the killing and stuff like that, but then you have something like this to offset it. Because
Mhm.
this is, I mean, it really is all positive when
Mhm.
you look at it. And it's us telling our stories from our lens. And Issa touched on so many different topics, from postpartum to gentrification to, you know,
Mhm.
just being black in a all white workplace, you know, the
Mhm.
different emotions that you go through there. So
Mhm.
I'm impressed with the show. I'm hoping, you know, this is one of those shows that you can replay back on BET at, you know, late at night. You know how they do Martin reruns and
Yes.
Fresh
Yeah.
Prince reruns. Like this will be one of those ones you're like, oh yeah, they playing some Insecure reruns now.
Yes, I agree with that. I like the representation of the black people on this show because we were smart, funny. You saw the black folks in their careers, they were educated, smart. The brothers on the show were good brothers too. Like the way how she represented the brothers. Like a lot of times, you know, we watch some of these shows. I'm like, man, they got us looking crazy out here, the women and the men and stuff. And
Yeah.
they did a good job of representing both our brothers and our sisters. So I'm really gonna miss this show. But I'm
Yes.
happy for everybody involved with this show. And I'm happy to see their journeys and whatever else is on the horizon for them.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I greatly appreciated about the show is a lot of times in writing, people will say they're being realistic and you're showing things how they are, but you can also show things how they want to be. And they're one of the things I appreciated about this show. In whenever they had interaction with police officers, instead of showing some tragedy, they
Mhm.
always had a way it could be. They offered a model for how things could be. Like when
Mhm.
one got pulled over by the cop, and the cop was like, "Go Hoyas," and let him go. Or
Mhm.
they called the cops on them when they got off the bus when they were searching for Tiffany, and the guy was like, "Not tonight." And so I'm
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
appreciative of that, not repeating the same old kind of traumatic stuff that we typically
Yes.
say. No, there's another way this can go, and let us show you that. And also
Mhm.
about her response to gentrification is, I can do something about it. I can go out there and promote black businesses. I can buy real estate. I can, you know, it was
Yep.
when we talk about the representation, it was that. It was like, okay, we say we have these problems, but when we have a platform, what do we do with it? And I so appreciated that. I so appreciated her addressing those issues, but it was also offering solutions. What if we did this? What would
Mhm.
that look like?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I love the show for that. I love it
Mhm.
for that. And the friendships
I was
too.
even happy. I, oh, go ahead.
No, even the friendships that sometimes you say we fall out and we have a real housewives moment. You can come back and apologize and build a friendship, and that doesn't have to happen again. That
Mhm.
you can come back. It's all about really building and solidifying relationships. You know, it
I
was
promise you, I was about to say something along those lines because you talked about the friendships, and I was thinking, like, even though they had this huge falling out, they still came back, and it wasn't that cattiness, or even within the friend group, it wasn't like one person going back and talking behind the other person's back.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
Molly even put Kelly on, like I was saying, at her job, like pulling each other up, elevating each
Mhm.
other.
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. I love the show for that. It was good. You know, this is one of my favorite shows. So I so appreciate Insecure for these 5 years as being, you know, because you want to, you want to have entertainment and you don't want to get beat down by it. So I would say the show was a joy to watch. So
It was.
see it go, but I'm already watching the reruns. I've already started going through the seasons, watching it again.
Yeah. I'll be doing the same.
Yes, for sure. Because I definitely want to watch this episode again because even though it was a little bit longer, it felt like it flew by.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So,
Ron H has joined us. He came to show us some support since Ron is not with us. So, hello, Ron. Nice to see you in the comments.
yes, thank you guys for joining us this late in the evening. It's 11:30 right now. I think we've kind of covered a lot of what went down. I know that this is the last episode of the series period, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Issa has coming out with her new shows. I know she's kind of giving a little sneak peek into what she's working on next, but I'm thinking that she's going to keep the momentum going. She's a brilliant mind, and I'm excited to see what all of them have in their futures. Um,
Yeah, because I think what did
okay,
they say? Natasha Rothwell is at Disney, so
Mm.
to expect some really good work to come from her. See what Jay is doing. Based on this, they have no limits at this point. So
Mm-mm.
I'm
Mm-mm.
looking forward to what they all produce.
They should be proud of what they've done.
Very proud.
I live tweet the show, and when it was ending, I tweeted all of them, and I just was like, this is the ending I wanted to see, and I just said congratulations.
Yeah, I can't think of any other way this could have gone.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us closure in everybody's life. We seen Molly even after her marriage, happily married. So traveling the world with her man. And I was like, this really just couldn't have ended any other way. So
The only sad thing was the mom.
involved. Right. Which I think I didn't want to say I seen it coming, but you kind of could feel that something tragic had to happen in Yvonne's life or Molly's life. Sorry.
Well, when they started the estate planning too, and after the stroke, I thought it might end up happening.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate, but again, it's real. I mean, things happen, and you can see how even though Issa and Molly had gone off in their separate ways in their lives, like they were very busy, and each person didn't really have time to celebrate with the other, but they still kept in touch over the phone and still provided that support that each other needed. And Molly was, even though she struggled to really express how she was feeling about her mom's death, Issa let her know, like, it's okay to not be okay. You know, you can let me know if you need anything, or if you need to seek out somebody to help you with what you're dealing with. Like, it's okay to not be okay. Even though the title of the episode was Everything is Okay. So
yeah. I'm happy with the way it ended. I was like, maybe they were just trolling us, because if they set the expectations low, anything that happened after that would be good. So that was marketing too.
Yeah, Kelly Jordan, that's perfect what she said. She said, I like how Molly said it doesn't matter how we play in life, it's going to go how it goes. And that's real talk, because what were we saying like a couple episodes ago about if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Like, I'm just really happy how things turned out.
Yeah. So I think we summed it up pretty well. I almost shed a little tear. I think the wine got me feeling emotional.
I know. I almost did too. I was like, oh my gosh, especially, around the time when when Molly's mom passed, and then at the end seeing Issa and Molly get emotional when they were talking to each other, and just seeing that she was going to be with the man she was supposed to be, and the man that Molly was supposed to be. All the folks that she'd been through, the drama with Dro and all the other dudes and stuff, she found the one.
And he was right there.
Yeah. Under her nose. How about that? Under her nose.
Yeah.
I'm with Daryl Fletcher. True love won like it should have. So
I heard that, Daryl. I'm with you.
So do you guys want to toast Insecure out one last
time? Insecure.
Thank you so much for a great 5 seasons. So thank you, Issa. Thank you, Princess Penny. Shout out to Yvonne Orgy, Natasha Rothwell, Amanda Seals, Jay
Jay
Ellis,
Ellis,
everybody involved.
Neil Brown, everybody, Kendrick Sampson.
Elon.
Yes, Elon.
Yeah, look,
Yes.
the mom, Wendy Raquel Robinson, like everybody. Kofi,
Yes.
yeah, yep. Everybody that showed up this season. Tyra Banks.
Yeah, the actress
I
that
even
played
seen Derek
Sequoia
Luke in
Mia
this
Kristen.
episode.
Derek Luke?
Huh? You didn't see Derek Luke at Molly's house?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he was there. He was a part. Somebody, I guess, that they had hired along on the firm, and I was like, okay, he got a little cameo.
Okay.
You know, Lee. Okay, I didn't see that, but the actress that played Sequoia, the assistant, was really good too. So,
Yes, she was.
Oh, yes, shout out to her too. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to toast it out of here. Thank you, Insecure. Thank you all involved. We appreciate all 5 seasons that you gave us. This was a cultural moment, a cultural shift. So thank you. We appreciate you. And cheers to the future.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Look at my neck bright. I get that check right. I'm so blessed, right? Off of that jet pipe, off of that side. I'm in a new coupe. My nigga, I been fired. I said what I said, right? Yeah, I get that check right. I'm so blessed, right? Off of that jet pipe, off of that